Prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, because today's video is going to be absolutely insane. Last night, my time, we just received probably the biggest addition to this theme park theory or theme park theme that we've had in Brawl Stars for the last couple updates. I'm going to be catching you guys all up to speed today with what has been happening here inside of the community in the last couple hours. The spark of this all starting with a mysterious package being sent to the very first person who created the theme park theory. A spark starting outside of the game, breaking that wall, which is really interesting. Today we'll begin in attempting to unravel the deepest mysteries here in the Brawl Stars universe and the lore that we have yet to know about a game that we play every single day, and how this may translate to future updates around the corner and what we can expect within those updates. Guys, I present to you all part 1 of Starr Park. So everyone, today is part 1 of the Starr Park breakdown. I want to avoid making another 38-minute video, so it's as comprehensive to all of you guys as possible, because I think we're really getting into some important territory here in Brawl Stars and updates coming around the corner. We're going to be going over some of the more important theories in today's video, along with the general breakdown like we mentioned before, but then once we're able to kind of dig our heels into all of this information and wrap our heads around everything that was presented as of recently, we'll be hopping into part 2. I'm planning to get that out tomorrow, revolving around what we can come to expect, what makes sense with all this information for a bigger update around the corner and the contents within that update. So expect that tomorrow. So with that being said, I don't want to waste any more time. We got a lot of stuff to get into in today's video. So what we're going to be doing is going over the general timeline of all of this crazy information that came around the corner yesterday. What was the initial spark, and explain ourselves along the way, as well as make sure to stick around, guys. Your boy Ray was featured on the WKBRL live stream. They said your boy's name, so we'll be getting into that earlier on in today's video as well. But let's get into it. So the way this all began, as you can see, 21 hours ago, a tweet from Mariano here. As creepy as it sounds, this is how everything started, but he tweeted out, "Someone wearing a cactus mask delivered us a box about some sort of park last night. We'll make a Reddit post tonight taking a look at the contents, but I'm guessing it will have something to do with Brawl Stars." Now, Mariano isn't just some random person who received this really interesting gift from whoever we don't know quite yet. Mariano was actually the very first person to develop the theme park theory, which we covered on our channel a long time ago. So that in and of itself is incredibly interesting, right? The very first person to develop the theory is now kicking off the very first solid concrete evidence that we have for this theme park theory. I mean, we have a name for it now, for goodness sakes. It's Starr Park. But getting into some of the pictures that he snapped of all of this stuff happening here in his Twitter post, as you can see, the male person delivering this, a masked male person, kind of creepy if you ask me, but the mask is a spike mask. And I also find this really interesting that all this crazy information that we now have is beginning in real life from one box delivered to the rest of the community, which we're going to be going over today. But moving along here to the next image, as you can see, we have a box with Park on it stamped there 3 times, and I believe the Spike plushies are just his, right? He owns that. I don't see any plushies in the male person's hand, but really cool. And then the final image to tease us, we have the paper crown, the crowns that we keep seeing inside of Brawl Stars as of recently, as well as a t-shirt with Park on it. But again, he did say he's going to create a Reddit post, which he already did, which we will be getting into in today's video. But this was the very first information that started all of this craziness that we're getting into today. So next, moving along the timeline of everything that happened yesterday, as you can see, I tweeted out 12 hours ago, "It said my name, it said my name." The original tweet from Advertisement Guy, finding an audio clip, he says, "Holy crap, Brawl Star Ray develop art, you gotta listen to this. This is insane. Thanks to Discovery Brawl Stars for discovering this revolutionary audio clip. I'll let it speak for itself."
The following announcement is from SP Corporation and its legal affiliates. It is intended for the audience of the defendant in the pursuant matter, who will henceforth be referred to as, quote, Ray, end quote. Quote, Ray, end quote, has been problematic concerning the inquiry and obtainment of information regarding the development of property, construction and operation of joy-based businesses for the express purpose of jubilant children and well-fed adults for and by SP Corporation. Quote, Ray, end quote, has unlawfully procured and shared information regarding, but not limited to, unaffiliated radio stations, star-shaped joy hats, personal voice messages pertaining to shovel repair, arcades and/or starcades, robot-operated saloons, socks befitting cacti, self-actualizing arcade cabinets, skin, second and otherwise, shape-shifting, phone-based meteor delivery applications, space exploration and space-related theorization, ambiguous smiley face logos, and any other confidential materials that shall remain secret. In addition to, quote, raise, end quote, inaccurate French translations, the perpetrator has broken doctor-patient confidentiality by sharing, quote, patient aids, end quote, personal information in the form dictation notes intended for the sole purpose of the attending physician. Furthermore, quote, raise, end quote, unauthorized collaboration with an individual known only as, quote, advertisement guy, end quote, is particularly offensive to SP.
So everyone, when I first heard this audio clip, I was definitely super excited to hear my name coming across it, as well as I definitely took a step back for a second. It's kind of creepy, right? It's very accusatory. Should I be making WKBRL news updates here on my channel? I asked myself, but I think it's really important to keep in mind that this person talking, I believe, is coming from within the theme park or people working for the theme park, not the dev team. So I think we're safe there, guys. Some of the stuff in there talking about like giving away confidential information for that 8-bit clip that we touched on a few episodes ago on the WKBRL live stream. That was out for everyone to hear, right? So it wasn't just me displaying that. So I think it's more for the gag of it and having fun with the developments here and adding to the lore of stuff. So don't worry about your boy Ray. I'm not getting banned or anything like that. The dev team would have reached out to me if they didn't like what I was doing here. So, but still, really interesting. This is the very first audio clip that we actually have real people in real life being mentioned in the game, not just Brawl Stars oriented stuff. But I think the biggest takeaway of this and what a lot of people are saying now about the live stream is that the audio coming from it is from the people that are at Starr Park or people who are related to Starr Park, and they don't necessarily want us to know of this information, almost like it's being broadcasted to us in a secret way. But now they know that we know what's going on here with the stream, being the very first example of them talking directly to us, not giving us information about random things that we're trying to piece together. As well as, it's really important to keep in mind before we move on, I feel like this is the very first example of how the whole vibe of Starr Park is like. They're kind of a little bit pushy and they're kind of a little bit arrogant, which you guys will be hearing a little bit more in today's video. So let's move on. So once again, moving down the timeline of events, this time on the post that Mariano mentioned he was going to make in that first initial Twitter post that we mentioned earlier on in today's video. But digging into this post and what he found inside that box is going to give us all the foundation for the rest of the video today and the second part of the video. A lot of very interesting things were in that box. So getting into this a little bit deeper, as you can see Mariano saying here, "Hi all, as some of you may have read today, I recently received a very suspicious box delivered by a person wearing a cactus mask." He then goes on in explaining why he thought he got the box, being the very first person to come up with the theme park theme theory in the game. So heading into page number 2, you guys thought that was it. There's 4 of these suckers, so let's get into the box. Mariano says, so here's the box. As you can see, it says Starr Park all around, and if you've been playing the game, you've already seen the Starr name in a couple places, like the Super City environment and the 8-bit mini game, for example, these 2 pictures. He then goes on in saying that he got a t-shirt as well as that Starr crown, which we've been seeing in the game for a long time, but probably the most interesting piece inside of the box was an old computer and old printer papers. Now the small text on the front of the printer papers says you are onto something, which Mariano points out here below the 2 images, which is incredibly interesting as well as creepy at the same time. But getting into even more interesting things, he then opens up the computer, which is a very old model, boots it up and sees 2 icons, Recycle Bin as well as Internet Explorer Starr Park. Moving on to page 3, this one a little bit bigger. Now when he clicked on that link, it brought him to this page, which he explains is a official fan site of Starr Park, which, cool enough, you guys can also visit the link. It's right here. He left it in the document, which I'll be leaving linked in the description down below if you guys want to dig into the context of this website. So then he goes on in breaking down the home page before he gets into the specific links that are provided on the website. The very first thing that he breaks down is the little ticket that's there, explaining that it seems seems a little bit off, a little bit funky. So as you can see, Mariano's saying here below the image, just in here and in the homepage, there are a lot of word choices that makes this park feel like not a super nice place. You are visiting an internet portal where joy and happiness are mandatory. We allow you to be our guest. At Starr Park, nothing can ever go wrong, and why would it? So this brings us back to the clip that we made about the audio clip, where they have a weird vibe about them, almost like Starr Park is so good that it has this sense of arrogance behind it. Like, it is the best and we know it's the best. You're going to enjoy it, no questions asked. So getting into the very first link that Mariano clicks on the home page, which is the photo gallery, which as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of photos that kind of resemble things that we already have in the game, such as this looks like Mr. P there. We have a bow hat over there. We have some gems in the top left-hand corner. We got Poco there. Now, a really important point to take note of before we move on is that some of the images have broken links, so we can't see the image that is supposed to be displayed there, which I think is for a reason. Mariano goes on in explaining that there are a total of 42 images that we can see and 20 missing images, so a total of 62 if we could see the ones that aren't being displayed. He then brings up in what I think is a really important point here on the bottom bullet, and that is broken image links across the whole page websites are broken on purpose. They're not pointing to a missing file, but they all point to the same missing image icon. So then Mariano goes on and finds an email on the website called webmaster@starpark.biz. So of course he sent an email asking for the missing images, and then he got a response. For the subject, your patience is forever appreciated. Your email has been received in the correct order, but some things have come to light and communications now cannot be trusted or even believed. Keep your soul bright. So then on the final page, he goes on in explaining his own theories surrounding the contents of one simple wooden box. Guys, a lot of information coming from one box, but once again, we're going to be saving most of this for the second episode. I want to make sure we have our heads wrapped around all the theories that make sense for what's to come here with Starr Park and the update around the corner with Starr Park. But to give you guys a little taste of what's to come in the second episode, as you can see some of his theories here at the top, Starr Park was kind of a shady theme park based on some of the strange phrases they used in the site and merchandising. There's something strange behind it. At some point, something bad happened and the theme park disappeared. I'm guessing it was a toxic spill based on the description of the yellow jumpsuit smelling like chemicals and the old newspaper Brawl Stars shared on Twitter. The yellow jumpsuit, to give context here, is this one. The yellow jumpsuit description says smells like chemicals. More on that later, which we're going over right now. I believe this toxic spill had a few effects. It created a lot of mutations on people and objects, with some unanimated objects like plants, Spike, Sprout, Rosa, Plant, animals, Crow, dead people, Poco, Ems, Frank, and a lot of robots getting human capabilities. And a lot of people that was left ended with different powers like super strength, speed, invisibility, psychic abilities, etc. Which then, after the toxic spill and all of this happened, the smiley in the logo turned to a skull. He then goes on in explaining here at the end of this theory, the Brawl Stars dev team knows about all of this and may be involved in some way. They're afraid it may come out, and that's why the webmaster said some things have come to light and communications now cannot be trusted or believed. This also explains why each time someone brings one of these theories up to them, they just ignore it. Wonder why they never talked about the theme park theory? I wonder why. So to wrap things up in today's video, we are heading to the website itself, and I want to share with you all some of the bigger, more interesting things that people are finding within the Starr Park before we go really in depth in the second episode. So heading over to the photo gallery here, like we said before, there are a lot of different photos to break down, but I want to share with you all one that I find a little bit more interesting than the others, and that is this spoon. A lot of people pointed out that this is a map within the spoon, and with some color correction, you can see it just a little bit more clearly. So taking a look at the small map that's on that spoon, this very well could be the whole entire Brawl Stars universe as a whole. We can see certain things that kind of ring a bell, such as this very well could be Mortis's Mortuary. Some people thinking that this is Tar's Bazaar over here, though it is very, very blurry, but the color correction does help. Some people pointing out that this white circle here at the right could very well be an igloo representing this ice theme that we brought up not too long strong go with the Gale and Mr. P family. But yeah, it's clear as day. We can see other things such as a water park down there at the bottom left. We have some burned places. Maybe that's where that toxic spill happened. I'm not sure what environment would just have red all over it. But in general, it's very clearly an amusement park. I believe this one up here we actually saw in an animation on the Brawl Stars YouTube channel. So yeah, guys, once again, I don't want this video to go super long, but all of this is so dang interesting. We're kind of finally revving up the engines with this theme park theme coming in the game that has been sneak peek or teased for the last 2 or 3 updates in Brawl Stars. When it comes to when this is coming, I still think it's going to be here very soon. It very well could be our next update, even if Ryan mentioned that it's going to be a mini update next. I think that very well could have been a diversion tactic to kind of dumb down our expectations. I'm not sure if they could keep this kind of hype train going with the 8-bit minigame and now all of this for a whole nother month after this mini update that's coming out in September. But hey, only time will tell. I'm looking forward to the ride. All of this is incredibly fun. But yeah, guys, once again, be sure to look out for that episode tomorrow. I really want to wrap my head around everything that's going on in the community when it comes to theories before I start blabbering on about crazy theories and speculation. There's just too much information to jump on too much theory crafting in today's video. So hope you guys are looking forward to that. I really think there's stuff within there that we can pull out of in order to figure out really important things coming to Brawl Stars. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to slap a like on it. I'd really appreciate that. And with that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.